Ahead of President Trump's trip to the Middle East today, Hamas has announced that they intend to release Edan Alexander, the last living American hostage held in Gaza. The Israeli Prime Minister's office writes, quote, the expected release of IDF soldier Edan Alexander without anything in return will be possible due to the vigorous policy that we have led with the backing of President Trump and thanks to the military pressure of IDF soldiers in the Gaza Strip. Hudson Institute senior fellow and national security analyst Rebecca Heinrichs joins me now. Rebecca, good morning to you. This is incredible news for the Alexander family, who released a statement noting that they found out that their son will be returning home to them on Mother's Day. It's also amazing news for the United States because he's 21 years old. He's an American citizen from New Jersey. And the Trump administration is saying Hamas agreed to the release of Alexander as a gesture to the United States without compensation or conditions. The reason this happened is because of United States negotiating directly with Hamas, and Israel didn't even know that this specific conversation was taking place. Does that strike you as significant?
It is significant. First of all, incredible news, very exciting for Edan Alexander's family. Every time I talk about the issue of Hamas and Israel, I try to mention Edan Alexander, our American citizen from New Jersey, 21 years old. But at the same time, Carly, you mentioned something really important. Hamas is trying to peel the United States out of having anything to do with this conflict. So they're mentioning the one American living hostage, making sure that he can get home now if they deliver on this promise. But there's still more hostages, Israeli hostages there. And it's the combination of Israeli IDF military pressure and U.S. diplomatic pressure where we've had successes. So the United States is still going to have to stay involved.
Okay, also want to ask you about the Iran nuclear negotiations. Fourth rounds took place this weekend. Both sides said that they went well. And yesterday, Iran's foreign minister said Iran is open to adjusting the amount of enrichment it does as a confidence-building measure. When you hear that, it's not something that Iran says every day. What do you think?
It might be something Iran thinks is a good gesture, but we reject that. The United States has been absolutely clear, from Special Envoy Witkoff to Rubio to President Trump to Vice President Vance, there will be zero domestic enrichment inside Iran. That is an absolute nothing that we will compromise on. There may be a civil nuclear program, but that means that uranium will be imported. It will not be something that the Iranians can enrich inside their country. So far, the two sides are irreconcilable on that very basic point.
Okay, so let's move over to the Russia-Ukraine war. Some pretty significant developments took place over the weekend. Vladimir Putin rejected the idea of a 30-day ceasefire, but in exchange said that he wanted to meet with Ukrainian officials in Turkey on Thursday. And Vladimir Zelensky said yes, that he will go to Turkey to meet with Vladimir Putin. It sounds like this could be really a test on if a negotiation can be made here.
Well, let's zoom out, Carly. So on last Friday, there was the largest military parade inside Moscow, where Putin was celebrating the Soviet Union's contribution to the victory over Nazi Germany. Sitting beside him was Xi Jinping of China, and of course there was a North Korea delegation. Putin has not shown that he is willing to have a ceasefire in good faith. At the same time he was having that military show of force, you had the Europeans in Kyiv, in Ukraine. You had the Brits, the French, and other European partners and allies agreeing with President Trump. Macron from France was calling President Trump, getting his buy-in, that if there is not a 30-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine beginning today, then there will be secondary sanctions with the United States and the Europeans together putting on the Russians. So now Putin is saying, hey, how about we have a discussion in Thursday, Zelensky? And Zelensky called him out and said, fine, I'll be sitting there waiting for you. I want peace. Yeah. So once again, Ukraine is demonstrating they are the peace party, and Putin is the warmongering country that does not seem to want peace at all.
Yeah, and Vladimir Zelensky said he would show up in person. Unclear if Vladimir Putin will do the same, which is important, if he shows up himself or sends somebody on his behalf. So we will certainly be watching that. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.